Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Clever Clarinetist. I'm your host, Dr. Larkin Sanders. So today I'm a little bit closer to you because I am just talking to you about stuff and not demonstrating stuff today. And we are talking specifically about electronic bass clarinet. I started my electronic bass clarinet journey in about February of earlier this year, February 2025. And I'm going to walk you through all the stuff I have settled on. I have done a lot of trials. I have made a lot of product returns, a lot of exchanges. And I'm really happy with the stuff I've settled on, and it really suits my needs and the performances that I give with the electronic bass clarinet. I learned most of what I know from observing and reading stuff made by Chris Mothersole and Michael Lowenstern and other electronic clarinetists. But some of the stuff I settled on, I also found on my own, and they suit my needs a little bit better than some of the things that suit their needs better. One of the decisions I made right off the bat was to do electronic bass clarinet instead of electronic soprano clarinet. And that's because most of my performing life involves the bass clarinet at this point. It's my favorite member of the clarinet family, and it's also kind of a crowd pleaser. When I'm out playing solo clarinet music and I bust out the bass, everyone gets super jazzed and excited about it. So I'm listening, I'm paying attention, and following my own instincts here. Much of what I have to say and much of the things I have purchased for this project can translate to soprano clarinet. In fact, I think there's only one thing that is bass clarinet specific, and I have some advice about soprano clarinet alternatives in addition. As I make my way through all these little bits of gear, remember that in the description below, to the side, or in outer space, wherever it is, there is a list of everything that I'm talking about, including lists to buy all the products. If the link is to a product on Amazon, that is an affiliate link, and so I get a little kickback whenever you use that link, and I really appreciate your support. So starting from the very beginning, the first thing you're going to need to electrify your clarinet playing is a microphone. So I bought the piezo barrel mic, and I got this idea from Chris Mothersole. He writes about it in the introduction to his book for the Delaytudes. He promotes their stuff on his website, and they promote his stuff on their website. They're based in Australia, and they sell everything over eBay. If you go to their website, it's still going to route you to eBay to buy. But I really like it. It's very reasonably priced and very excellent sounding little microphone. And I'm pretty sure it's the same microphone for any woodwind instrument. It's just that the mount is going to change. I might be wrong about that though. So if you do see something distinguishing soprano, bass, whatever, get whatever microphone is appropriate for your setup and your instrument. The microphone comes with this little bitty mic. It also comes with a cord that I think is 10 or 15 feet long. I think it's 10 feet long. And honestly, I'm pretty happy with this cord. It is nothing especially fancy or special, but it suits my needs. I'm not wandering far away from my pedal. I'm pretty much going to stay right next to it, so I don't need a super long cord. It also sounds fine to me, so I don't know any better maybe yet. So I don't feel the need for a fancier cord either. I think the piezo barrel cord that they send is perfectly adequate. And they will, if you get the bass clarinet microphone, or if you get a microphone without a barrel, if you're a soprano clarinet player, you can buy a setup of a barrel mounted with a microphone, which is fine, unless you are really picky about your barrel. Then that might not be so fine. It'll also come with this little kit of adapters if you buy just a microphone and intend to mount it yourself. I bought just the microphone because I had someone else make a mount for me, and I'll get to that in just a moment. But this little kit has lots of different bits and bobs in it to mount your microphone. Next, let's talk about the way I mount the microphone to the instrument. So there are several different ways you can mount a microphone to your clarinet, or your bass clarinet in this case. Most of the time I see people mounting through the neck in some way, shape, or form. Sometimes I see it through the mouthpiece as well. I am really like sketched out by the idea of mounting a microphone in my mouthpiece, and partially that's because I play on a Behn Epic Mouthpiece with custom components. So the idea of drilling a hole into my, $1,500 bass clarinet mouthpiece doesn't exactly sit great with me. I think it also might inhibit the type of ligature you use. And if you are like me and playing probably still more classical gigs than electronic gigs, you still need to be able to play in a concert hall without any obstruction and weirdness. So I'm decided to mount on my neck. So this is my neck. You can see there is no mount, and we'll circle back around to that in just a minute. So my bass clarinet neck of choice is the Blashaus neck. It's gold. It has a standard angle. I love it. It's perfect. It has done exactly what I wanted it to do for me. So basically what I did is I commissioned Jared DeLeon to make an adapter for this part of the neck to mount the microphone. Here is my adapter for my neck, made by Jared DeLeon, and you can see here's the plug for the microphone. You just trade it out. So I can I can unscrew this front chunk of my neck. I need to grease it a little bit. I feel like you guys always see me when I need to grease stuff. And you can just slide this right in. It fits perfectly. I was able to use it immediately. I have had no issues with it. And the thing that I really love about this is that it feels the same. The resistance is the same. I playing wise can't tell the difference between this neck and that one. So I could just make this half of the neck my full-time neck and it would be fine. There's just something about honestly at this point, the look of the full Blashaus neck that I really like, especially for orchestra gigs, which is what I'm doing a lot of the time. So then you just mount the microphone like so. You just screw it in. It has a little O-ring, so you have some flexibility as to where the little hole stops. But there it is. We're all mounted up and ready to plug into something. So now I think the next thing is probably what most of you have been waiting for, if that wasn't it, and that is what effects processor I chose to do all my stuff. And so I eventually settled on the Line 6 HX Stomp for my effects processor. There are a lot of reasons why. First and foremost, might surprise you though, is that in a device like this, a multi-effects processor also doubles as an audio interface. And I did not know what an audio interface it was when I started this project. I was looking at Boss pedals, your really standard guitar pedals for my setup initially, and then I realized because I wanted to run everything through my computer or headphones at first, I feel really insecure about speaker selection, and I come from a long line of audiophiles. I knew it was going to be a big thing for me, so I really just wanted headphones and my computer so I could get the feedback, I could learn how to do the thing, but I didn't have to do it so publicly, and I didn't have to do it with a massive setup, just one of my headphones. And so if you use just basic guitar pedals, which are great and probably the most authentic sound, you want to use your computer or headphones like I did, you will also need an audio interface that exists between your pedal and the computer. Otherwise, it won't really work. So this device does both. So I can plug this straight into my computer, straight into headphones, or straight into an amp and hear everything as I need to, and record things as I need to. It has hundreds of effects on it, and I know some purists will grouch about how it's not the authentic pedal or whatever, but I think we need to check ourselves as clarinet players and remember that we play the clarinet. And also I think it matters as to how compact do you want your setup to be. Are you good with a big pedal board, or do you want something nice and small that you can travel around with a little bit easier? I am a nice and small kind of gal. I also tried multiple effects processors before I landed on this one specifically. And the main reason that I had to go through several is because I feel in the classical world, we're primarily Apple Mac users, and the first pedal I bought, or the first effects processor I bought, was incompatible with Mac. And of course, on all their stuff, they say they are compatible with Mac, but only in the sense that it's compatible with a parallel operating system. So that would mean that you'd have to like also have Windows on your computer, on your Mac computer. That was too much for me. That was too much computering for me. I did not want that. I just wanted something I could plug in and go. Again, this is a plug in and go kind of device. There was a little bit of a learning curve for me in learning how to use this, but fortunately, this is like an old standard as far as guitar and like electronic processors are concerned. There are approximately 1 gazillion tutorial videos on how to use this device. And Line 6 makes it really easy to use too. This is also a Yamaha product, so if you're into Yamaha, that might be a consideration, or not into Yamaha, like whatever. I'm into Yamaha, so I like this product. If I can go back and do it one more time, I might go for the HX Stomp XL, because I've already found that I wish there were more buttons. You can always add more pedals or more switches, like externally, but I've definitely already found myself wishing that like I had like 1 or 2 more switches. And the XL, the Line 6 HX Stomp XL is just like, it's the same thing, just with more switches, and I think it might have more like cord and device capacity as well. So if you plan to do like voice microphones or something, like that might be a consideration as well. For now, I'm happy with just doing clarinet stuff with this guy. So you can also plug this into your computer so that you never really have to use the foot switches if you don't want to. You definitely still need the device to get all the effects and all the sounds. But I know for me, sometimes I'm in a situation where I don't want to have to be like bending over all the time to make some kind of change or switch on the pedal. So it's nicer to have my computer more at like waist or eye level to make any changes or switches. Especially if I'm editing a preset, I will definitely do it on my desktop and not on the device. You can do it on the device, but again, it's like using all these like analog buttons and knobs. I don't know. I just prefer doing it on my desktop anyway. Something else to consider with just using an effects processor versus an entire pedal board is that this is the only power supply I need to run the effects processor. It's the cord that came with it. And if you're running a full pedal board, you will need a more intense power supply than just your little adapter. But this is the adapter that came with it. And like I said, you can connect the HX Stomp to your computer and edit things and run things from your computer, and you need a cord to do that. And you have to get one of those fun printer cables to run the HX Stomp to your computer, which I have a link to in the description below. Mine is like a printer end to a USB-C, because I'm running a like MacBook Pro 13-inch from 2021 or something. This works great for me. Again, it's not super long. I don't need it that long because I want things close by. But you do you. You can use adapters, you can use whatever. For me, I use this so much, it just made sense to have the cord. And if you plan on doing something like this, you should also just have a cord without adapters. And like I said, I wanted to use headphones when I first got it started instead of like a full-on speaker system or a PA. So these are the headphones I settled on. I think I went through like 3 or 4 different headphones before landing on these. I spent less, and then I landed on these Audio-Technica Air ATH 8500X. I really love these headphones. They have an open back design so you can hear yourself playing and get the feedback that you need. You can use them as a monitor if you're out and about in the world. If you watch a video of me playing the Delaytudes, you'll see that I'm wearing these as my monitor. They're really light. You can see they don't even have like a full headband because they don't need one. They will just like rest on your ears beautifully. They're super comfortable. I'm super picky about headphone comfort. And I ended up actually selling my AirPods Max in favor of these. These were a lot less expensive than those, and they are wired, which you want in this situation. If you are using headphones to monitor yourself while playing electronic bass clarinet or electronic clarinet, you need the wire, otherwise you will experience a delay that is extraordinarily unhelpful. I also found myself gravitating towards these when I need to do editing or any kind of sound stuff, like any production stuff after the fact on my computer. So I really like these. Again, there's a link to them in the description below. One more thing, the headphones come in like such a crazy variety. And I don't remember the specifics now anymore. I'm really sorry. But I know it was hard to find headphones that could be driven by the Line 6 HX Stomp. So whatever device you end up getting to run your effects processing, you will also need headphones that are compatible with that, and it might take multiple tries, or you might talk to an expert person about what headphones to use with whatever device you're using. But I will say these work beautifully with the Line 6 HS Stomp. I had some other headphones that were harder to drive, and so they just there was no volume there. And you couldn't really hear anything. So it might seem like they're broken, and you'll just trade them in and get a new version of that, but then it's the same problem over and over again. So just keep that in mind. There is definitely a level of compatibility between headphones and an FX processor. And if I'm traveling with my headphones, I have this case for them. They don't fold. This is as compact as they get, for better or worse. I don't take them on airplanes or anything. I would just wear my little bitty AirPods for that. But I might take these on the road soon because I'm doing an electronic recital far away, and so this will be really important. This is a case that's compatible with them that I found on Amazon. Again, there's a link to it in the description below. It's a hard shell. It's lightweight. I can coil up the cord and put it in there. It's just really long. It has a little accessories pocket that it's Velcro, so you can move or take it out entirely. So yeah, if you need a carrying case, I got you on that too. And of course, you need a cord. You need all kinds of cords for these kinds of things. But this cord is for running from the HX Stomp, so from my effects processor to the speaker or the amp. It's a Mogami Gold. It's 8 feet long. It's not a super long cord, but I decided to just kind of go all out on a decent length cord. Chances are, if you're at a gig where you're working with a sound production team or a company, they will have longer cords on hand, and you probably don't need a 20-foot cord on your person at any time as an electronic clarinetist or bass clarinetist. I know different people this is all they do and they need big long cords, and that's fine. But I'm saying for what I do, and as what I would still consider a beginner electronic clarinetist, this is more than enough cord to do the job. And I decided to go for quality and not length, I guess. At least as far as my budget was concerned. It's not a cheap cord, but it's really nice, and I'm a big fan. Larkin, how are you carrying all these little things around? Well, I'm so glad you asked. This is just a hard shell case that I found on Amazon. It's kind of like a cheapo Pelican knockoff, but it's perfect for what I need. As you can see, it's not a very big case, but it carries almost everything that I need. So you can see I have my HX Stomp pedal in here. I have my power supply. I have my computer cord and my clarinet cord. I have my bass clarinet neck bit and the microphone all in this case. It's very secure. It has a gasket. It's waterproof. It's really easy to close. It's really easy to carry. It's not heavy. And honestly, the gigs I have gone to so far, this is the only thing I have needed to bring with me because the rest of the sound stuff has been provided on my behalf. But yeah, I have a link to this case below that you can check out. And also something that's really important is that this insert is totally customizable. It has these kind of semi-cut squares in the foam, and you can kind of chart out how exactly you want everything laid out. I actually really goofed the first time I got this and I really messed up the foam, so I had to order a replacement insert, and I have linked to that in the description as well. So if you screw up on the foam inserts, don't panic, don't worry, you don't have to buy a whole other case. You can just buy another foam insert and try again. Or if you change your mind later down the road and you want to rearrange, you can try again with a new foam insert. So I think I've kind of touched on the fact that I'm a little bit insecure about the purchasing of a PA or a speaker system. I've actually been using a friend's vintage Ampeg amp. It's a guitar amp, but it actually sounds pretty great with my instrument. It's nice practicing outside of the headphones every once in a while, so if you have a guitar amp, you can make it work. I don't recommend a bass amp unless it's a tube amp. like I have access to a bass amp as well, but it's not a tube amp, it's an electronic amp, and it won't work for the bass clarinet. Your bass clarinet is in the cello range, not in the bass range. Just keep that in mind if you are going bass clarinet. Yeah, I really like the amp. I actually just ordered, though, a speaker, an alto 10-inch PA system, so I'll see how it goes. I'm kind of ordering it in a pinch as like a just in case kind of thing. So if I end up returning it, I will note that in the description after the fact. But I'm hoping it's really excellent. I hope it does exactly what I need for it to do. I know with these speakers, they can run anywhere from like $150 to like thousands of dollars. So it's definitely something you want to take very seriously, you want to budget for, you want to plan for, and if you have access to like a speaker store or like a music store that caters to this kind of stuff, take your instrument with you, take your stuff with you, be a nerd and try stuff before you buy it. That would be my biggest recommendation. And unfortunately today, we have a lot of cool music for electronic clarinet and electronic bass clarinet if you're not, looking to become a bass clarinet rock star or anything. And I can't recommend Chris Mothersole's Delaytudes enough. I paid into the consortium for this book, and I paid in and I wasn't sure if I'd ever actually play it. I was really like intimidated by the whole electronics thing. But my spark was lit in February for whatever reason, and I did it, and I'm so glad I did. I had a blast learning these etudes. They really helped me like feel comfortable and free to play around with my effects pedal, to learn how to do stuff, and also to become a better clarinetist. Playing with delay is no joke, guys. It's like playing with your metronome, but harder. It's really good for you, and it can be really fun. And every time I played these etudes for other people, they're like, "What? I didn't know that was possible." And I'm like, "Yeah, anything is possible with a bass clarinet." Anyway, these etudes are not easy. I would definitely put them in like the advanced category. But they're super fun, they're super rewarding, and it's a great way to get to know your equipment if you're ready to take the plunge and get your stuff together. So that pretty much wraps up the walkthrough of all of my electronic bass clarinet equipment. I have a recital this weekend, so I thought this was the perfect time to go through all this stuff finally. I know since I posted my videos playing some of the Delaytudes, a lot of people have been asking me if I could tell them more about my equipment. I'm like, hold on, hang tight, I'll do it. Well, I finally did it. And remember that in the description below are links and lists of all the things I just talked about, where to buy them. And again, the Amazon links are affiliate links, and I really appreciate your support. I hope if you decide to buy stuff, you'll use the link so that I get a little kickback for this momentous effort of making this video. Otherwise, you can find more information about my whole bass clarinet setup and where to buy all that stuff on my website at cleverclarinetist.com. And you can find this really cool shirt also at cleverclarinetist.com, designed by me. What else can you do at cleverclarinetist.com? Oh yeah, of course, you can book things like lessons and services and trial sessions. I sell a lot of clarinets and high-end things, and I would love to work with you to help you find the best setup for you. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.